Alright guys, so I'm going to show you all the best way to tie in your limb driven rest. Alright, now I have the Hamskea Trinity. So right now I have the string it came with and the keeper, and I'm a pretty big fan of this method because you can just cinch it like that and then bring it back down, cinch like that, and it keeps it tight. And I have mine tied into the back side of this limb cup for the press, and I like it there. A lot of guys will tie it into the yoke. I don't really like that, and some guys will tie it here, and I don't like that as well because it slides. Hamskea does make a tool where it gives you a loop to tie into. I just want to save the money. I just went under there, so that's pretty cool. I'm gonna be using BCY D-loop material. This is just neon, so it's cool color accent. And the reason why I'm using this is because in the field, if a D-loop were to pop out or to break, I can retie one pretty quickly. So I'm gonna tie it in here. I'm gonna have a lot of slack or a lot of extra to have cord for really anything. So yeah. All right, so the first thing I need to do is just take this old one off. And all you have to do is you can either untie that, now I'm just gonna cut it because it's just like that. Pull it through. And then I'm gonna get an Allen key and loosen that up and pull it out there. So I'm just gonna cut this. I'm gonna keep it loose so that I can get my other D-loop material in there. There we go. Alrighty, so I'm gonna keep this. I'm just gonna have it in my bow case just in case, because this doesn't hurt to have an extra. And that piece is really cool. All right, so I'm gonna tie this D-loop. This is about a couple feet of D-loop. I like to cut a lot more than I need just to have some extra. But first I'm going to tie it into the back side of this cup. So I'm gonna go from the inside, so it's gonna be a little tricky here. Okay, just like that. So I'm gonna tie this in, and there's a bunch of ways to tie this in. You can do it however you want, whatever's secure. I could do like almost like a fishing knot, like a uni knot or a cinch knot. So I'll do just 1, 2, and then I will stick it through the bottom loop and then bring it back through here like that. And then I will pull, tag end, and then cinch it down. And this D-loop material really bites on itself too. So you don't, once you get it nice and tight, it's not going anywhere. So now I'm gonna tighten down these screws, get them back to tight, and then I'm gonna reef on it one more time. So now it's tight. I'm gonna really pull on it, really good. That D-loop material will bite really well. Just like that. I'm gonna cut this tag end off about there. Razor blade. Okay, there you go. Pull on it again, get it nice and tight. I'm gonna just ball this up. Give me that one, Rick.
A little more controlled.
Ow. Melt that, melt that. Just like that. And I like to let the ball, sometimes guys will mash it down. I like to let that ball dry because nothing's gonna get pulled through there. Just really pull on it. Make sure it's good. That's not going anywhere. So we're gonna tie the Prusik knot. So that will allow us to slide it up and down, cinch it down, and uncinch it. So how you do this, we'll do it slow so y'all follow along. You want to run the cord up, put it through the spring. I like to go from the inside out. It's a lot easier to work with instead of outside in. You want to take this and make a loop over the line that runs down. So just like this. And then you want to bring it around and wrap once, twice, 3 times, and bring it back to the center. Just like that. And a pro tip, you want these coils, if you do it really loose, these coils will wrap around each other. You want to make sure they're stacked one on top of the other. And so as you're bringing in the slack, you roll them with your fingers to keep them, and see how, like that. That is coming over. You don't want that. You want each coil in line with each other. So just like that. You can roll it up with your fingers. And then, once you have that, you want to take the line down and go underneath. So you want to start a loop like that. So the first one's on top, this one's underneath, and you want to do the same thing. You want to go in once, just like that, in twice, and just like that, and in 3 times. And you want to bring it through this loop. And again, you want to get those coils to where they're stacked nicely. So you want to roll, roll, and they will, see, like that, they just bound up again. You want to get them back in line. So if they're not in line, won't work as well. And as I'm rolling these up, I'm pulling this tag in, cinching it down, and basically that's it right there. And as we cinch it down, these coils will tighten up. So what you want to do is you want to take this string, you want to pull it, and as you're pulling it, you want to grab the knot and pull it down. So pull, just like that. I'm going to do it so the camera can see. Grab this line, pull and bring down. Pull, bring down, pull, bring down. And as you add tension, the coils will tighten up. Want to make sure the coils are all good. Pulling the tag in, make sure everything's clean. Nice and tight. You want to be rolling the coils the direction they're wrapped. Tighten them down. Rolling the coils, pulling the tag in. And just like that, that is a tight Prusik knot. And that's not going anywhere. So when you're in the field, you want to check your arrow rest. You fell on your arrow rest. You just grab this line and then pull the knot up like that. Boom. And when you want to, when the arrow rest comes up and you want to lock it back down, you grab this line, you pull up and push down with the knot, just like that. And it locks it back into place. Now, with this tag end, what you want to do so it doesn't come through, make sure everything's good, make sure everything's in line nice and tight. You want to get your razor blade or scissors and you want to cut right about, we're going to do here. And I'll tell you why we're doing it that long. This razor blade needs to be replaced. Here, we're just going to cut scissors. So you want to go here and cut it. I cut the thing a little too short, so I just had to retie it. Make sure when you have this tag end here, cut it long enough. And you want to cut it long enough so you can make a knot. So in the previous clip, I cut it too short, so I had to retie it. But now that's about, what do we say, 1.5 inches? That's about 1.5 inches. That will give you enough room to tie a knot. Some guys, if they know their length, they'll go ahead and tie that knot first and then tie their Prusik. I like to do it last so I can get a good feel of how much loop I'm going to use. Because I like to use a lot more. A lot of guys will tie their knot up here. I like to go here even lower. So make sure it's cinched down, nice and tight. You want to be pulling this tag in, rolling the coils, make sure everything's good. Should look like a really nice uniform loops stacked on top, 6 loops stacked on top of each other. You want to take this and just tie, just go around and back into itself here. It doesn't have to be tied up against there because then we can adjust the knot to where it is flush. But all right, just like that. So you just want to tie just a simple knot like that. And then I'm going to take this, cut it a little shorter, just like that. I'm going to ball that up, get it nice and flared. Take my lighter and melt that down. One time. All right, I'm just gonna let that cool. Again, I like to have a bigger ball. I don't like to mash it down because once that end gets hard, nothing's pulling through there. So you don't really want to leave this tag in. You kind of want it flush. So what you want to do is loosen it back up. And you want to just back the knot out. So you want to push this and it will loosen it. You want to roll it backwards. Roll it backwards. You can even pop it out. Pop it out of the loop. Like that. Get everything tighter. Just press it back in. Just like that. You want it pretty much flush or as close as possible. So now it's pretty flush. Looks good. It's not going anywhere. that. So yeah, that's your in knot. I usually roll the ball to the inside so it just doesn't get pulled. And so that's what it looks like. And it's really crisp, really clean. And you want to cinch it down, make sure your air launcher is all the way down. And there you go. So that's the complete thing. It looks really clean. It makes your bow look cooler, and it's definitely a lot stronger than the string they give you. It's a lot more durable. It's not going to break. It's not going to cut as easy. And you got some D-loop material. And so you got all this. You pretty much got from here to work with, and you can make your knot a lot shorter. So you don't have to carry extra D-loop material. So yeah, that's the Prusik knot, and that's how it's done. One thing I forgot to mention, if you're using this D-loop material, it has like an initial stretch to it. So you want to get all that out, because you'll see if you don't do that, when you really tighten it down over time, it will slowly, your launcher will slowly start to come up a little bit because it's stretching and kind of seating into its final position. So one thing you can do is wrap it between two pliers and really pull on it and get that stretch out, or you can put it in a draw board and tie it to one end and then crank it and really stretch it, but that will help with it slipping at all.